No sound. We're looking good there. We're looking good here. Let's see here. Thank you.
They're going to check on us now.
We got it now?
Should be good.
Okay, we are on now. Okay.
Man, we wasted. I mean, that was the best intro I have ever heard, Tim.
Well,
and
you know
they missed
what?
it.
Elliot knew. He was like, I'm going to keep him off the air here because he knows the value we were bringing was minimal. There we go. Thank you, guys. So here we go. Opening tip now, won by the Blue Jays. Let's get those lineups for you here. Paige Comstock. J.C. Fangmeyer as the first pass thrown out of bounds there by the Big Blue. You've got Jada Laughlin as well as Bree Schefter and Olivia Pike. Those are the starting five. It's Maddie Tinkham, Maylee Nelson for Fort Calhoun, Ella Bauman, Bria Bench, and Dalla Drown. 2 freshmen start for Fort Calhoun. We are underway here as the Pioneers will face man-to-man defense by the Big Blue. And this is going to be Bauman, the freshman, working. Looks to pass inside. 2 quick turnovers, 1 for the Blue Jays, 1 for the Pioneers. Laughlin with the steal.
I like the fact that we were pressing them because when you got 2 freshmen on the court, let's see how much experience they have.
And let's see, we get the ball down here to Schefter. She'll get a little bunny from the right side. It's 2-0 Big Blue.
Okay, can I call that was like a set pass to
I like it.
Because it was ricocheted off of someone's hands and right where it needed to be for Schefter. So who gets the assist on that one?
We got a little volleyball terminology going on early. You knew that was going to happen with Suzanne Sapp up here. So the Blue Jays with that early lead. Here's a bounce pass underneath to Drown. Drown
nice
puts it up from 7 feet. Won't go. Who's going to get the board? It's loose. And the Pioneers come up with it. There's Bench. They need her to get going tonight. She's averaging just under 13 a game. Drown, turnaround Jay in the paint, won't go. And there's Schefter with the board.
I'll tell you what, I think Jays keep playing defense like that. They are making it really hard for Fort Calhoun to get anything.
Laughlin, 3-ball. Won't fall for the Big Blue, and Drown now has it.
Seems like a pretty fast pace, too. They're out for their track meet here.
Both these teams getting up and down the court
they do.
early on as Tinkham will work against Comstock. Good pick there, actually, on for Tinkham. Here's a bounce pass to Drown. Well done by the Pioneers.
Nobody picked up the backside. She had an easy layup.
So it's now 2-2. 6 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Both teams deciding to press as Pike beats it, gets it over to Schefter, left-handed,
yeah,
good,
nice.
And Pike is fouled.
Getting her 3 points the old-fashioned way.
That's exactly right. And by the way, Fort Calhoun coached by Marty Plume. He is longtime coach. He coached at Scott before this.
Oh.
And here comes Reagan Craven in quickly. Fangmeyer will check out with 6:03 to go first quarter. Craven shooting 50% from the field. Really good shooter. Just under 30% from 3. And here's Pike to try to complete the old-fashioned three-point play as Suzanne called it. And it's now a 5-2 Blue Jay lead.
And I kind of like how we're subbing quick and often because the pace we're playing keep fresh legs on the court.
Emma Keith checks in for Schefter. And now here comes Fort Calhoun with Bench bringing it up. Blue Jays has fallen back in man-to-man. Are they looking to trap? Craven's chasing, but they weren't able to get it, so Bench has it. Now they'll go off the right side. This is Nelson. Pull-up Jay won't go. And right in front of Brad Jacobson, his old Midland College basketball day.
And he handled that one like a pro, didn't he?
Yeah, and a one-handed bounce pass back to the official Ken Marr.
Impressive. Yeah, still got it.
He does. He can play. He can play, Suzanne. Boys can play too, huh?
Yeah, they can.
Here's a steal by Drown. Long pass down the court to Bauman. I'm assuming this is Grayson Bauman's sister. And here's a 3 that's put up, and it got lodged in the rim.
Okay, one thing that I noticed here, they got that inlet pass down here. Thank heaven she was not facing the rim because I saw 3 orange uniforms with their hands up ahead of our defense. We were beat back on that one. And they would have had a choice of 3 easy layups.
And coming into this game, it's interesting that you say that. Fort Calhoun averaging just over 27 rebounds a game. The Blue Jays around 24. So this is a pretty good rebounding team for the Pioneers as they get it in. And they'll move it around. Blue Jays up by 3. And here's a pass that goes off the back of Bauman and out of bounds, and it'll be Blue Jay ball. So good D there by the Big Blue.
Very good D. I'm very impressed with how we've come out hard. Well, but they are too. I mean, it's going to be a dogfight here.
I was going to say, as they are going to want to push this pressure, and the Blue Jays for the second time in a row beats a good pass underneath the Laughlin. Left-handed finish. Blue Jays up by 5.
I like to see when they beat the press by the pass.
And here comes pressure back the other way. See what they can come up with here. Good passing by the Big Blue. They just fall back into that man-to-man. And rolling here is Bauman, the freshman down on the block. Comstock all over her. Left-handed dribble. Page makes it difficult. They get it down to Nelson. And then the pass off the fingertips, but they'll track it down. Driving in here is Bauman. Bounce pass to Drown. She's fouled. She'll go to the line to shoot a couple.
She had a great pass in there, inlet there. Just not the 24 was just a little bit too far underneath the hoop.
And let's see, we got Coach Bloom bringing his team over to talk.
How long
with
has he
them.
been at Fort Calhoun, do you know?
You know, I think this is his third year, if I remember correctly. And I might be confusing that. He does a really good podcast called A Pen and a Napkin, which is a basketball coaching podcast.
Oh, interesting.
And here's the first free throw by Drown. I know that he's been doing the podcast for 3 years, and I might have confused that with his tenure at Fort Calhoun.
Do you listen to it?
I do. I've listened to Coach Mose, who's been interviewed. I listened to Kevin Sheaf, who's been interviewed. I've listened to a few others.
A pen and a napkin. I'll have to look that up.
High school coaches around the state mostly, and some from out of state. As the shot was missed by Drown, but they got an offensive board. And there's Bench, who's working off the right side. Here's a right baseline drive by Bauman. Can't get it to go. Tip back, though, and a putback is good by Maylee Nelson.
Way too many second chance choices there. Too many rebounds.
Suzanne's on to something when she mentioned this rebounding of this team. And here's Emma Keith. They beat the pressure. Another nice pass left side. Another left-handed layup by the Big Blue, and it's 9-4.
The Fort Calhoun coach cannot be happy about that because that's exactly the same way we got our last bucket.
And by the way, 4 points by Schefter. And this pressure right now really working into the hands of the Big Blue, isn't it?
It is because Fort Calhoun is caused to make some pretty erratic passes. The one thing that I feel the Jays really need to hone in on more is the rebounding. I think they're positioning themselves, it seems to be a little bit too close to the rim because they're bouncing out a little too far. So.
And that's a great observation. I mean, there's no doubt about it that the Pioneers early on have beaten the Blue on the board.
And it's not like they're a really tall team either. They're just positioning well. They got a couple of those girls have got some pretty good spring in their step. But we've got to do a better job. 3 shots at the basket can't fly, and I'm sure Coach Hubert's not happy about that.
No, and I wonder, he called that quick timeout. I wonder if he wanted to set something up, if he wanted to address that. But
well, I think pressuring them is kind of disrupting their offense quite a bit.
And here's a steal by Marley Glock, who just checked in the game. Gives a good feed to Keith, and she finishes. It's 11-4.
Nice play, Coach Hubert.
I like that timeout. Now they beat the pressure. Blue Jays up by 7, and that's going to be Bauman, the freshman. She's going to be good. You can tell that. She tries to find Drown underneath, but it's lost, and Glock comes up with a steal. Glock in trouble, though.
Oh, she got mauled in there.
She did. Schefter comes away with it. Here's Craven. Craven with that left-handed dribble off the Comstock left baseline drive.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a foul called. By the way, we got to give the officials some credit. It's Ken Marr, Brian Bach, and Kevin Kennedy doing the honors today, and that's Ken Marr on the call there. And that's the first foul on Nelson.
Officiating is not an easy job.
Boy, and we're having a hard time finding them, aren't we?
Yeah, I've heard that there's a shortage of officials now, which is unfortunate because I think certain things have attributed to that. It's a little too much input from the crowd for the officials. You're going to be a good official, you better be pretty thick-skinned.
And those coaches might have a little input.
Well,
from
yeah,
time
they
to
do
time
too.
right?
You expect that. It's just like.
Yeah, you're right. It's gotten a little bit difficult. I was talking to an official the other night. He said it's gotten a little rough, but they're cleaning it up, and the NSA has done a good job of making sure we recognize these guys and gals. And here comes Schefter, who gets in the paint, kicks it back up top to Glock. Glock will dump it off to Craven on that left wing. So, again, defense here by Fort Calhoun. Suzanne been tough as Comstock gets in the paint.
She kept going. She
just
kept
a little
going.
short.
Yeah. She had the lane, and she pulled up too short up for her.
Bench pulled down that defensive board. Has yet to really get going offensively. She touches it here, but Pike all over her. Averaging almost 13 a game as Bench, and here comes Bauman, the freshman. What a shot.
That was a nice shot by her.
Assuming Grayson Bauman is her brother, who's a terrific player on the varsity boys team. There's a double dribble by Olivia Pike, and a good call.
Yeah, it was. She was just kind of looking to see if anybody was trailing her and anywhere near, but in doing that, she kind of held it a little bit.
What impresses me with these Blue Jays, though, bunch of buckets coming on that left side, and they're using the left hand to finish. And that was one.
And they're not all left-handed.
That's exactly right. Although Emma Keith is becoming left-handed.
Yeah, well, yeah, Emma Keith is.
That right shoulder surgery.
Just wait till next year when she's got her both shoulders. She could go either way.
Drown not able to get that left-handed layup. Now we got a tie-up, and the possession arrow belongs to the Blue Jays. Up 11-6 here against Fort Calhoun. Both of these teams searching. Very importantly for them both to get in that win column. The Blue Jays at 2-7, Fort Calhoun at 4-7. They understand the urgency of it today. As Comstock now working against some zones. So Coach Plume going into a little bit of a zone defense, and here's a tip away, and coming up with it is Keith. She's got 3 around her, though. Someone's got to be open. Good ball reversal to Comstock. 3 ball won't go. And we got a whistle on the foul on the big blue.
I think it might be on Fangmeyer. I'm guessing.
And don't forget, folks.
Yeah, it was 3.
Unified game coming up after this, before the boys' varsity game, as Jada Laughlin checks in. And Fort Calhoun has brought their squad down. Special Olympics. We've got all kinds of signage around here today. It's going to be awesome. So stay with us. We'll have that broadcast.
It is well worth watching. It is that's such a cool event.
Heartwarming, and those kids, I mean to tell you, they worked so hard for that game.
The thing that it struck me about the Unified Games is, as parents of athletes, you know, you have these opportunities to watch your kids compete, take pictures of your kids competing, and some of these kids have never had that opportunity, and this is the perfect opportunity for them to, you know, have what the other athletes have. I just think that's just such a cool thing.
I do too, and we'll have it here, folks, on Strive as Jada Laughlin not able to get that 3 ball down. It was in and out. So Fort Calhoun could cut it to 3, possibly 2, as Bench trying to get on track. The Blue Jays doing a good job on her. She'll put one up in the middle of the paint and got that one going off the glass.
Yeah.
Her first bucket of the game, and it's now 11-8.
I can't say anything about that shot. It looked to me like she just kind of threw it up there like that one.
Emma Keith misses. Offensive board for Pike. Who's going to come out of there? That's Bench. And she's starting to get going here.
Yeah.
Under a minute to go. Blue Jays up 3.
5'10". She's got a little bit of height.
Bauman has it stripped and knocked out of bounds right in front of the cheerleaders. It'll stay for Calhoun ball. And now checking in here is Ari Nelson, a 5'9" freshman. They sure play a lot of them. And Maddie Tinkman back in.
I understand why Fort Calhoun dropped back into the zone, because when last time I saw them play, they're forcing us to hit from the outside there, because we have a tough time getting anything going in the zone.
And you're exactly right. The shooting has been a little bit of an issue for the Big Blue, but they're working on it.
Well, right. I mean, they've got the girls that have the potential, but we just have not been hitting them here lately.
And they kick it out to their wing and work it around with the Blue Jays. Almost going to steal from JC. Can she track it down? No. It is Kaylee Taylor, the 5'5" sophomore, that comes up with it. Here's Bench working on a spin move, but instead finds Tinkman. Tinkman off a screen, nothing there. Nice job by the Blue Jays to stay with their players. Now they find Bench cutting. She wants to work that right hand, turns around from that right side, and the board coming down to Keith. We're under 14 seconds to go. Blue Jays up 3 and with the ball. We wind down this first quarter. Glock had a 3, but chose to hang on to it and get it to Fangmeyer for a good open 3. Bingo!
Oh, nothing but net on that one. Nice way to end the quarter.
Love to see that, huh?
You do. You know, you got to kind of get that first one to drop, and then that gives you the confidence to keep shooting.
And man, what a good look they got. They got possession with 14
Well, there were, 2
seconds.
other girls that probably gave up looks.
Yeah, right.
Before they got Fangmeyer, and she was wide open.
Yeah, Glock had a good look, but she said, look, we've got 8 seconds on the clock. Let's work it a little deeper. They reversed the ball. Wide open, J.C. Fangmeyer. Coach Hubert's going to like that.
Yep, he is. He is.
So, Suzanne, give me your thoughts here. 14-8 after quarter one. The Blue Jays, hey, 14 points. They love that.
That's good. Yeah, that is, because there's been some games where we've had that just a little bit more than that in a half. So I like the fact that they're finding ways to score And I'm loving their defense. I am loving their defense because it's very gritty. It's very in your face. They are making Fort Calhoun work for each and every shot. Got to clean up the rebounding.
Well, the Blue Jays came into this averaging 36 points a game. They're on a pace right now for 56. So
love to see them do it.
Yeah, I know you and I just talked about it a moment ago about how they're trying to get on track offensively. And, man, if they can keep putting up 14s in a quarter, that's going to get them on track
Well, and if
quick.
we can hit some threes, that's going to pull you out of a zone faster than anything because they're not going to sit back and let us start shooting the threes. And if they start dropping, then pulling it out, and then that opens up our like Olivia Pike underneath.
Yeah.
So.
And, it's just a matter of time, as you said, because Fangmeyer can really shoot. Comstock can really shoot.
Comstock is a one-way. I've said for years, she's got to shoot more. She has got to shoot more.
Absolutely, and then Laughlin shooting 33%, which we'll take that. Reagan Craven shooting 50% overall field goal, so she can shoot. So got some shooters here as we get underway in the second quarter, as it'll be Emma Keith and Olivia Pike, Jada Laughlin. Molly Glock is going to start in this second quarter. And here's a quick steal by Pike, and you've got Comstock, the fifth starter, and here comes Comstock running with the basketball. They'll go down to Glock. And I called her Molly early. It's Marley Glock, and I apologize to her and her father. And she has it down on the block. Spin it around to Pike. She's in the paint. And now she'll look at a three.
Well, she thought about it.
She did. Good ball movement. Down on the block. Coach Schuber's got to like this ball movement today. Pike, ball fake. Left baseline drive.
And
she's fouled. She'll go to the line.
That works. That works.
So we're seeing
patience.
Really. You talk about patience, Suzanne, too. Watching that boys game against Auburn the other night. When we played Auburn the first time, I've said this a few times, in state last year, as Pike misses that first one, we just looked uncomfortable with that pace, right? Coach Weeks wanted it to be that pace. We wanted to speed the game up. But the Blue Jays looked so comfortable with that pace the other night.
They played their game. That was a great game. Great game.
They executed. And you saw that here on that last possession as Pike hits that second free throw from the Blue Jay girls. They were just very comfortable, worked it around, got a good shot.
You've got the lead. You don't have a shot clock. You're not in a panic to score, so just look for the good shot.
As the Pioneers will set up their half court, as Bench gets in the paint. She likes to spin to that right side.
She does.
And now they go right baseline, but nothing there by Nelson. Nelson pulls out to the corner, crossover dribble, trying to make it work. A little shove there. Suzanne thought she'll get the bucket. No, Drown will get the offensive board, though. They just continue to hurt the Big Blue on the offensive boards. As now here's a pass over to the right side. A Perfetti, lob pass down to Drown, misses the bunny, and now coming out of there is Comstock. And what are we going to get, a tie-up? We do. Possession arrow, Big Blue.
So what do you do to get out of that? What do you do?
Rip and be strong, right? Well, she was trying.
She was trying, but I think part of sometimes I think they're trying to turn around too much, and then they're right into the defense. Use your back to protect yourself a little bit, but then that's when somebody else has to come in and help.
So the Big Blue up 15-8. 6:14 to go here first half. Here's a three by Pike, and it will hit the top of that backboard and considered out of bounds. So Fort Calhoun will work against the pressure.
So now is it because it hit the top of the backboard, or is it because it hit the support?
Yeah, it's probably the strap, isn't it?
Okay, because I thought the top of the backboard was still in.
That's a good point. The Blue Jays get a steal in the backcourt. No, tie-up, possession arrow, Fort Calhoun.
Yeah, those loose balls are the ones that we got to get. Because we did a great job of getting it out of their hands, got the ball loose, and then they still have it.
And by the way, Elliot Gosson doing a heck of a job.
Oh, that's right, we forgot. He needs to just pipe in here.
We'll get him in. But he is having to make sure, folks, if you've seen some black screen as we have a reach in here on Glock, we've got a loose cable. And
hence the tape all over it.
The tape all over it.
So he has to hold it?
We're doing everything we can to keep it in. Sometimes once the broadcast gets going, it just finds its way. But right now he's using his left hand to hold that cord in. He's using his right hand to run the clock for us and the technical. So we appreciate everything Elliot's doing.
So you're telling me we either get Elliot or a black screen?
That's right. We're working him hard. Here's Laughlin after the steal. Laughlin left-handed layup will not fall. But again, she'll go to the line to shoot a couple. Now, Jada just shooting 29% from the line, but ironically 33% from three, so you know she's a really good shooter. As that one bangs around, won't fall. It was so close.
Oh, I know the free throw shooting for this team has been an Achilles heel for Coach Hubert. He really, really worked hard with them last year on it, and I felt like towards the end of the season they were a very good shooting team. But as you and I know, so much of it's mental.
Boy,
so much of it's mental.
You have those teams that just kind of get in the rut, and Jada not able to hit one of them. Drown with the rebound, and here comes the freshman who misses the shot. But Reagan Craven's right there to get the air ball, a partially blocked shot there. Drown is going to work Comstock.
Now, I have to believe Reagan, raised with the family she has, with no one's going to rip the ball out of her hand on a rebound.
That's right. Well, speaking of ripping the ball out of the hands, Olivia Pike's shot is blocked by Bench, and back the other way they come. That's Nelson. Get it into Bench. Bench with that left-handed dribble.
Oh, she wanted to go back right.
Yeah, here's a three ball put up by Nelson. Won't go, and the rebound down to Keith. And a foul by Bench coming over her back.
She did it right. She got her rebounding set far enough out that the only way she's going to get to the ball was reach over the top of her.
Good news, too, to have Emma Keith back. We got a timeout on the court. The Blue Jays up 7.
And it appears that she's getting more used to playing with that one arm, because I know when she first started playing, and kudos to her for basically playing pretty much one-armed.
Imagine the benefit she's going to get.
That's what I say next year.
Yeah, that left hand. Coach Hubert just said, look, you've got to learn to shoot left-handed. You got to learn to
dribble.
Use your dribble. Yeah. And, boy, if you watch her shoot free throws, and we'll see if she shoots right or left tonight, she has really come a long ways with that left hand.
I agree. That's going to make her an even more dangerous player next year.
And Coach Hubert working hard in the huddle here, Suzanne, with his Blue Jays up 15-8. We talked about their scoring. They had 14 after quarter one, but in just a little over 3 minutes, 3:06, just a single point here in the second quarter.
Yeah.
Good news is they've shut out Fort Calhoun.
Yep, that's true. So the bad news is on both teams, there's been only 1 point scored so far this quarter.
So, folks, if you like defense, you're seeing it here in these first 3:06 of this second quarter as Coach Hubert, and he is expertly assisted by Sean Ross and Reese Hogue. What a crew he has assembled, Suzanne. We're so fortunate to have these three guys.
We are very, very fortunate to have them, very much so.
They're putting it together in their second year as a staff. And it'll be Reagan Craven to inbounds here for the Big Blue. And here is J.C. Fangmeyer in that backcourt. And they get it to Laughlin, over to Keith. Keith will attack. There's that left hand we just talked about.
That was a great job. She could have, even if Pike would have got down a little quicker, she would have had an easy layup on the backside, but Keith didn't need it.
Boy, these timeouts have been very good for Coach Hubert. He had another. First timeout, comes out, get a bucket. Second one gets a bucket. Here's Bench. Can she score? She can't. Who's going to track it down?
Fangmeyer.
There's the sophomore. Fangmeyer.
Too bad Hubert doesn't have unlimited timeouts.
Yeah, we could sure use them as they go down left corner. Swing it back up top. He noticed his team was trying to get in a rut here as Emma Keith puts up a long three that won't go. And he called a nice play out of that timeout, nearly stolen from Bench.
Oh, wow. That was pretty close to palming, wasn't it?
I think so.
That was pretty high. I mean, it's one thing if you can keep your hand on top, but she had a little bit behind.
So here comes the freshman left-handed shot, no good, but I think Emma might have got her there. That will be the 5th team foul on the Big Blue. Fort Calhoun with 5 team fouls as well.
Really not a lot of fouls this half.
And that is the first, by the way, on Emma Keith. And we've got a whistle, and they want to talk things over here.
Oh, I think they were.
Yeah, the coach and Ken Marr having a conversation here, Coach Bloom and Ken Marr. But whatever it was, they got it worked out. And by the way, just 4 team fouls. 4 team fouls against the Blue Jays. And here is Bauman. The freshman misses that first free throw. Man alive, Bauman a freshman. Maylee Nelson a freshman.
But then look at who's on the court for us.
That's
Not
right.
a single senior.
That's exactly right now. Very good
point,
Suzanne.
But they do, but there's something about a freshman that, they don't have quite the experience, but boy, their freshmen are looking pretty good.
bench, a little floater in the paint. She tries to get the board, and Fangmeyer comes down with it.
I thought she was a little bit over the top of Keith on that one.
And here comes Comstock to find Keith. Keith will find an open Craven. Good ball reversal. No, they're going to keep it on that left side. There's Craven against this 3-2 zone. They started out in man, went into a zone.
It's actually worked well for them since then. They've only scored 6 points. But then Fort Calhoun hasn't scored a lot either out of it when they've gotten the turnovers.
Coach Huber just called a set play there, and they're looking for Comstock as they were bogged down a bit. They get it down the block to Keith. There's that left hand. Turnaround jumper won't go, and she'll be going to the line.
Is that on 23?
Let's see here. If they call that on bench, and it is, their leading scorer averaging 12.6, and that's her second and the 6th team foul on the Pioneers.
Yeah, I'd keep getting it down in there because she's a good little player, and she's the one that's been getting all the rebounds down at the other end.
And there's that left-handed free throw.
And it looks like she's coming out.
Yep, she'll hit the bench here with 2 fouls. That left-handed free throw by Emma Keith. Now listen, she shot them all this year with her left hand, and she's a 67% free throw shooter. Second one won't go, and Drown will track it down.
So she'll shoot, next year she'll shoot 1 left and 1 right.
We're going to have to keep her shooting left. Is that a steal?
It's a steal by Fangmeyer.
Yeah. She controls it, and the Blue Jays up by 10, trying to be more. Here's Comstock.
Oh,
Bingo!
Yeah. Nice.
Suzanne asked her to shoot more. She listened, and the Blue Jays with their biggest lead by 13. Here's Bauman against pressure, and that's why you ask her to shoot, right, Suzanne?
Yep, it is. She's got a good shot, and she can score, but she just does not shoot enough, in my opinion.
Great job by Reagan Craven to save that ball. And here's Pike. She wants to run.
I'll go all the way,
nice little jab step that got her an open layup. Missed it, but there's Keith with the left hand, and the Blue Jays on a roll, leading 23-8.
Keith did a great job on that one to clean that one up. I mean, it was a great shot by Olivia, but she was there just in case, and it worked out well for her.
My goodness, and Emma Keith, 7 points here in the first half.
Wow.
Now, I've got her averaging just 2.8 points a game. I don't know if that's correct, and we can look at that, but that's what I had written down. But because every game I've seen her play, she seems to be much more productive than 3 points a game.
I can look it up for you, Tim.
All right, here we go. She's got the iPad out. She's pulling it up. And I hope I didn't write it down wrong, but yeah, I got her 2.8 a game. So let's see what Suzanne finds.
I'm not going to girls volleyball, sorry.
Yeah, it just
you don't care about this.
Surprising on that. Just goes right to it, doesn't it?
It does. It was automatic.
Computer is programmed for volleyball.
Max Prep's changed their. I was looking at it earlier. They've changed their website, and I don't like it.
So she will continue to track that down. Meanwhile, Pioneers trying to get up against pressure, in trouble in the backcourt. Bauman, the freshman, with that left hand, they're going to try to double team her. They get it. But Bauman dribbles around and then a reach in on Reagan Craven. I think that's Reagan first. Let's see, it is. And the 5th team foul on the Big Blue. Unified game next. After that, boys basketball, Fort Calhoun and the Blue Jays. What a matchup that is. Fort Calhoun had not been to state in 99 years a year ago. Blue Jays had never won a boys state championship in any sport. And what a season those two basketball programs had a year ago. And they're going to be facing off for the first time here this season. And here comes Bauman, left baseline drive. Drown with a putback, won't go. There's Pike on the board, and she's fouled. She'll go to the line to shoot at 1 and 1.
That Drown, I think, is a pretty good little athlete. I look up Ashland-Greenwood girls basketball and automatically flips me to the boys.
Well, there you go. She's still working on this, folks. I thought, you know, you would just whip through your little iPad.
Well, like I said, they've changed it on me, and so I'm not real happy with this. Oh, here we go. This is the page I was looking for.
Pike is a 71% free throw shooter.
And I'm cheap enough that I have to get all the ads.
She got that one. She's now 3 of 4 on the season, and it's now 24-8. Elliot, your thoughts here on the Blue Jays?
I mean, really had a nice little streak going. I mean, 10-0 streak for this entire second quarter.
That's right. Great point.
There we go.
As Elliot, we pulled him off his duties here, and the screen went black. Here's Glock 3 ball. Bingo! Blue Jays raining down trays today, and it's 27-8. Here comes Bauman, and look at that nifty move by the freshman to make it 27-10. Blue Jays getting the Glock again. She's feeling it. Why not? Won't go that time. Tipped around and comes out of there to Taylor. Kaylee Taylor, the 5'5" sophomore.
Okay.
Suzanne's just about got
well,
that
no,
number.
I don't, because usually they have stats up here and they don't have it more.
Well, you just gave a lot of praise to Drown, and boy, she paid you off. That was a beautiful shot by Drown. We're under 40 seconds to go here, folks, in the first half, and the Blue Jays up 15 as they'll zip it around here. Be patient. And now it's off the left elbow to Glock. 24 seconds. You got to imagine Coach Schubert with that 15-point lead will be very content letting Fort Calhoun stay in a man, or stay in that zone and go for one. Coach Schubert up, using his right hand, calling the play. He gets a pick at the top to Paige Comstock. She's fouled, and she'll go to the line to shoot a 1-and-1 with 7.3 to go, second quarter. Paige, a 71% free throw shooter. First time today, no luck?
That's getting out there, no, because I don't know where they see the stats, because they usually have it across the top. See if I go back. Because they usually have roster stats, and it's gone.
It may be that Coach Schubert may not be sharing those. If they don't share, they won't put them in.
Well, usually they'll go to it, and then it's just all blank. At least in volleyball. Don't know how you basketball people work.
I know. Basketball, it's about 50-50 as Comstock.
Yeah, I get that you've got to report them. So who was it? It was, Keith, you were wondering,
You
right?
bet. As Comstock with that second free throw. She's 2 for 2 today to make it 29-12.
Individually.
And now here come the Pioneers. This is Bauman with 3 seconds, 2 seconds. And the ball knocked out of bounds off of Jada Laughlin, the track star for the Blue Jays.
He must not do stats, because there is nothing to be found here. So.
Well, now you find out, right? As they will have 1.5 ticks here to try to get a bucket. Down 17, they lob it in the paint. Ben shot up, blocked in. We'll go to half with a tremendous job defensively by the Blue Jays. Just 4 second quarter points, 12 first half points is all they've given up to Fort Calhoun. Meanwhile, the Blue Jays, there we go. I'm good, thank you, Lee. The Blue Jays get a 15 spot. Now, Suzanne, they had only scored 1 point 3 minutes and 6 seconds in.
And now look at that.
That's right.
Yeah.
15 points. They scored 14 in the last 5, what was it, or 4:54 to make it a 29-12 lead.
You just had to say something about it, and that just lit a fire under him. That's a lot of points in that little time.
It sure is.
A lot of points.
A lot of points. And Elliot, what are you seeing? You've seen these girls play quite a bit tonight or this season. What are you seeing that makes this offense a little bit different tonight and has really got them going?
They're really able to play their game. They're being able to play at the pace that they want to, like being able to run when they want to, play slow when they need to, and then they're being able to first take care of whatever Fort Calhoun's thrown at them. Started the man, pounded it down low to Olivia Pike. Then once Fort Calhoun dropped into their little 3-2 zone, then J.C. Fangmeyer and I think Marley Glock started getting hot from the 3.
Well said, Elliot. And Suzanne, I'd ask you, he just mentioned 3. It was a great segue. Blue Jays knocked down 3 trays so far in this one. And that has got to make Coach Schubert smile as he goes in the locker room.
It does, and it's got to make Coach Marr think, or not Coach Marr, but
Coach Bloom, yep.
Oh.
For Fort Calhoun?
Yeah.
Yep. Marty Plume, yep.
Plume. It's going to loosen up it's going to lose up your zone a little bit, because like I said, we've struggled with the zone. You can break a zone if you can hit from the outside. You're going to get those shots, but if you become a threat from the outside, they got to come out and guard you, and that gives you the holes in their defense. Well, they sat back there for a while to shoot it, and so we did and got it. So that should help them in the second half, where it'll be interesting to see if he comes out of the zone or drops back to a man again or what.
Yeah, it will be. You're right, because he started out in that man, then as you mentioned, he switched to that 3-2 zone. And the Blue Jays seem to have success against both, although that zone did hold them down for the first 3 minutes of that second quarter.
It did. And so it'd be, maybe they're going to still, say, okay, let's see if you still got it second half. So,
well, the Blue Jays have not found themselves in this position this year, up 29-12. They have played some great games, and they have been so competitive. But they've been in really tight games all year. As Coach Huber said to me the other day, we're just come to expect that. At the Auburn game when I interviewed him, he's like, well, these are the kind of games we play in, right? These really tight games. But tonight he's got a little bit of air between himself and Fort Calhoun. So tell me what he's putting up on the whiteboard here at halftime.
Well, number one, going back to that, what they expect, and then, going back to what I said before, it's the mindset. You don't want to be we're close and that be good enough. So you got to get that mindset in there that, hey, let's keep going, let's keep pounding it, let's keep pestering them on the defensive side of the ball. I'd be curious to see how many turnovers we had. They had, that we created a lot of them. And they just got to keep hounding them and then hitting the boards.
Well, listen, you asked for it. We're about to get it. As Mark Adele, he'll have those numbers for us. Mark, what do they look like?
I saw Suzanne kind of look groaning when I pulled myself up there. I may have the knee of a 90-year-old, but I got the arms of a 50-year-old. Anyway,
oh, he's playing hurt, folks. We appreciate that.
We are shooting pretty well for us. We're 10 of 21, 48%. 3 of 9 from 3, 33%. They've done a good job of breaking the press and getting layups, playing with a lot more confidence. 6 of 11 for 55% from the line. Fort Calhoun, on the other hand, 6 of 22, 27% from the field. 0 of 2 from 3. They've not shot a free throw. Now they have hurt us on the glass, 18 to 12. We've given up too many offensive rebounds. They've had 8, or we've had 4. Turnovers, though, they've turned it over 10 times to just 3 for us against their press.
Yeah, I knew that they'd have quite a few turnovers.
Yes.
And that's on track for 20. 20 turnovers as a coach is definitely not acceptable. 10 would be okay. You don't want to get that high, but 20 turnovers. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I think we need to keep going after them because we know they're vulnerable to turning the ball over.
Well, I know one thing. Coach Hubert's going to love hearing 10 of 21 from the field for 48%.
Yeah, that's good shooting.
What a number that is. And look, any coach in high school would be content with 33% from 3 of 9. We mentioned that. And my goodness, just 3 turnovers. And Suzanne, when you think about that, Blue Jays with just 3 turnovers against facing full court pressure for almost the entire first half.
That is taking care of the ball very well. And there's been a couple times when Fort Calhoun has gotten a hand on it, but we have out-hustled them to get that ball back so it does not create that turnover.
Well, listen, as we see these youngsters shoot, this thing here we do at halftime. They come out, they shoot.
It is popular, isn't it?
It's fantastic. And you get these kids, this is their moment, right? To get out here, and they're young and they're old, and or I should say older. None of these kids are old.
No.
No. But I love this part.
Not even the kids running it.
Yeah, right, exactly. The funny thing, though, is these parents, they just love sending their kids out. They send them out with cash.
You want money? Here, go.
Yeah,
go,
but then look
what
they get. They get 90 grams of sugar just put right into their vein. Because if they win, folks, they get a liter bottle of pop. So
well, and it's not. I think I see a lot of green out there, which means it's Mountain Dew. So it's not only just sugar; it's a lot of caffeine. So we are amping those kids up.
I love it.
By the time that boys' game comes around, they are just going to be flying high.
Well, listen, this is how you build programs, right? Get them out there and get them shooting, and then give them some sugar afterwards. So
fill them up with pop.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's talk a little bit about that boys' game, and we'll get Elliot in here on this, too. It's going to be come up. We can preview that. Blue Jays hadn't won a state title as we end up with a nailed shot there that the crowd went crazy over, I think. But Blue Jays had not won a state title in any boys' sport. No. Last year, they break through. They win it, and they go on, of course, to beat Auburn in what was maybe one of the greatest C1 games ever played. Then you've got Fort Calhoun. What a story they were. First time in 99 years that they'd been back to the state tournament. And so these two teams get a tangle again today with TJ O'Connor and Jake Mose going at it. Your thoughts on this matchup?
My first question is, since I've not looked at the roster, do they have a lot of their team back?
You know, they did lose a lot. They lost the twins, the Schwartz twins from a year ago, who were just exceptional. But they do return Grayson Bauman, who is an incredible junior. He's averaging 15 a game. Obviously, Wyatt Apple, who played quite a bit, some size up there, and Austin Wykirk, a 5'10 senior. So they've got some pieces back, but they did lose. You know, losing the Schwartz twins has been a little painful for them as they sit 6-4 on the year.
But the same thing with the Jays. We lost some pieces. We lost some pretty big pieces, and our team has not seemed to have missed a beat. So I anticipate, you know, when you're around a winning program, it's, you know, winning breeds success. And so I have a feeling a lot of these kids, and Fort Calhoun did not get there overnight. It was a work in progress. So I think it'll be a really good matchup.
It's going to be fun to watch. And Elliot, boy, you saw these two teams ascend to the top last year. So your thoughts on the matchup that's coming up here?
I think my favorite thing about it was how it seemed like every person from Fort Calhoun was in whichever stadium they were playing in, and they were all standing for every minute of the game, just cheering their team on, because they haven't seen that in a long time.
Boy, they had the state. You know, they had the state of Nebraska really rooting for them, I thought, because of that story.
Right. You always cheer for the underdog like that, unless you're live in Ashland.
Yeah, right. And what a game they played in the semi. Of course, they got that big win in state against Wahoo in the first round. And then, you know, they took Auburn down to the wire in that semifinals, and it was just a wonderful story to watch. And I can't wait to see this matchup today, as they carry a lot of energy in from a year ago. And Fort Calhoun kind of turning the corner. They started off a little slow, but they're playing a lot better basketball of late as well. Yeah,
and like I said, I think they're going to build even more, because, like I said, our boys team has not seemed to have missed a beat. And so I kind of anticipate, you know, and we lost some quality players, and I'm not going to, I mean, Cal. I mean, he's on a Division I basketball team right now, and so that was a big piece that was taken out of the puzzle, but they have not missed a beat. So I anticipate that, you know, that could very well easily happen for Fort Calhoun.
No doubt. And listen, one could argue that the Blue Jays, after losing all of that a year ago, one could argue that they are the favorites to win in the state championship again this year.
Well, the way they're
Wahoo
playing,
and Ogallala and a lot of other teams, Pierce, are going to have something to say about that. But.
Right, they are. But boy, they're showing such great poise, and they, you know, like we talked earlier about down at Auburn, that slow pace just ate them alive last year. But they learned, you know, they went into it more prepared this game, and boy, it worked like a charm. It's like, you want to play this game, let's play it. So at this pace, so
they brought it on, and it was a fun atmosphere in Auburn, Nebraska.
I think it'll be a fun game. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Well, folks, make sure you stay with us here after this one as the Blue Jays get started here in the second half, up 29-12. As J.C. Fangmeyer, Bree Schefter, Paige Comstock, and Schefter in a double right now. You've got Pike and Laughlin, the 5 starters for the Big Blue. On the other side of it, Fort Calhoun will send out their bench. Leading scorer having a hard time getting on track. Drown is out there as well as Nelson. You got Bauman, and completing their starting 5 is Tinkham. So they come out in a 2-3 zone, the third defense the Blue Jays have seen today. They've gone against man, they've gone against a 3-2, and did they get a turnover? No, off the hands, they say, of Nelson.
Yeah, after I said that earlier, I thought if I were their coach, I'd come out in the zone again and say, let's see if you can do it, keep doing it. And that's exactly what they did.
And the Blue Jays having to almost had their first turnover here in the second half. They only had 3 in that first half. You heard Mark Adele mention is Comstock gets in the paint. She'll try a floater. It won't go, but she's fouled by Drown.
Gets to the line.
So she'll go to the line.
Yep. You don't mix your shot. That's the next best thing. Get to that line.
And so Paige already today 2 of 2 from the line. 71%, as we said, from the charity stripe on the year. And she will put up a little too much muscle that time.
You jinxed her.
I you gave me that look like Tim, you dummy.
Way to build her up off the back of the head.
Leah's seen that look before, hasn't he?
Never.
Here's the second free throw. It's up. It's
he
good.
can probably imitate it by now.
30-12. They get in the backcourt here. Blue Jays continue to pressure. Almost got a quick turnover.
Wow, she had no dribble.
And gave it up, as Suzanne said, and that will create the turnover. Freshman's done a beautiful job tonight at Bauman.
She really has.
That time.
Well, she got trapped and picked up her dribble and had nowhere to go because her whole team was down the court already.
So here comes Comstock with a team coasting by 18. Early third quarter, though. A lot of basketball to play, and they know that. As Laughlin will look for a cutter. Comstock, she's knocked to the ground. They're going to call a travel. That was one of those 50-50 calls. She kind of came down on the defense there.
I kind of agree with the call. I think that was probably a good call there because, she was up in the air, but it's not like the girl went under her.
Trey, Paige, like her brother Trey, knocked out of bounds, who was a terrific wide receiver, and Paige had to emulate a wide receiver that time, going up to catch that pass. That was a toughie. And so in football, it would have been a 9-yard reception. Back the other way. And we got bodies on the ground. Blue Jays with a steal.
Now, see, to me, that should have been an automatic travel.
But a steal right back by the freshman Bauman. She's undeterred.
And not kind of out of control.
Yeah,
wow, it's gotten very sloppy. Very sloppy here.
Gotten a little crazy here about a minute and a half into the game. Sorry about that, folks. Well, we started with 3 announcers, and we're down to 0. So, Suzanne, you and I and Brad will be calling the unified game, which is going to be a lot of fun.
Perfect. That'll be great.
So, here we go. We've got Bree Scheftor in the paint off the front of the rim.
Bree's been a little bit quiet tonight, hasn't she?
She has. She had those 2 left-handed buckets early against the pressure. But she's playing foul-free, which is good because we need her in the game.
Yeah, she has a tendency to. I think she thought that Fangmeyer was using a little too much body to push her out.
And that is the first team foul on the Blue Jays here in the second half on Fangmeyer. That's her second. In comes Glock, in comes Keith. Marley Glock shooting 67% from the field in varsity action, 50% from Trey. So from Trey Land, and here's the inbounds pass off the glass, won't go, and there's Emma Keith.
That was good defense by Emma Keith.
She's running across the timeline. Now we have a reach in by Bauman, Bauman almost got the steal.
Yeah, she did.
The pesky freshman. They'll work it around, and there's Comstock. As they are switching up, I think the defense again here as Laughlin gets in the paint. Looks, she's got someone in the corner. That's Keith. 3 ball on its way, won't go, and the rebound coming down to the Pioneers.
Yeah, they're going to stay in that zone until we start hitting our threes again.
Bauman up quickly, got a pick. Gets it down on the block to Nelson, and the shot is blocked. Who's coming out of there? There's Bree Scheftor.
Laughlin did a great job of coming in behind before she was turning to. Nice
block
job by
the bucket. What are they going to call? They give her the bucket, and it's a block.
Yeah.
Marley Glock, we mentioned 67% from 2, 50% from 3. Just a freshman.
Yeah. She's going to develop. She's such a feisty little player, and watching her on the volleyball court, she's going to be a good little basketball player.
Yeah, and she's just quietly come along here.
Yeah,
you didn't get a lot of time beginning of the year, got a little bit more, and boy, every game she gets better, and that free throw is just a little short, and that's how you bring a freshman along.
Well, and that's one of those. She's one of those girls that she's a hard worker, so it will come.
Got some really good bloodlines there too in the Glock family.
Yeah,
they could all play. Back the other way.
Is she cousin to Jason?
I believe so. Yeah, as shot up no good, either a cousin or maybe a niece.
Oh, yeah, she would be young enough to. I hate to say this, but that could be possible.
Shot up by bench, no good. Now here's a jumper from the left side. Tried to
bank
it
rebound.
into Nelson. Yeah, and then
we've got to get a rebound. That's like the third one.
It is. Bench shot is blocked that time by Scheftor. And that's where I know Coach Schubert will work on with Scheftor, because she drops that left hand down. You're going to get called for that foul every time. Leaving your feet, not necessarily the worst thing. In fact, sometimes boys basketball coach that, to actually jump in the air, which they coach sometimes. But when you drop those hands down, boy, 9 out of 10 times they're going to call you.
Well, and then look who you're putting to the line to shoot.
And that is bench that Suzanne is referring to. 60% free throw shooter. She just hit the first to make it 32-13. She's just got 3 points on the game.
Yeah, the Jays have done a great job on defense on her.
Second one, no good. Schefter coming down. Nice job on the board. And here comes Bree. She'll get it to the freshman. Bounce pass to Comstock. Good look inside.
Nice.
And Paige finishes off.
She had good position on her defensive player because she was right behind her, so there's nothing she could do.
8 points for Paige Comstock. Here's Drown with a nice pass.
And they're trying to push it a little bit, but just can't quite do it.
Really good pass to Kaylee Taylor. Taylor just having a hard time handling that pass from Drown. And out will go Schefter, and in is Olivia Pike and Glock, Comstock. You got Reagan Craven and Emma Keith. Pass almost intercepted on the inbounds. Blue Jays handling the pressure well. Pike, pull up. Looks for that mid-range jumper that won't go. And there's Bench. She's been good on the glass tonight, running the length of the court. Finds a wide open Pioneer, and that's Taylor.
Nice
won't
job.
go.
Nice job rebounding by Craven. Boy, she had it, and then she loses it.
Yeah, had it stolen away, and the bucket up by Nelson.
She did such a great job of boxing out on her rebound.
And Coach Hubert says, let's use that timeout. We'll come back, though. Blue Jays will be up 34-15, 3:36 to go in the third quarter. And Elliot here, your impressions of the Blue Jays through half of this quarter in number 3.
Blue Jays haven't had quite the production they had before the half. A lot because they haven't been able to hit their threes, and a lot of it just wasn't able to get the shots that they really want to take. Haven't been able to get the ball in. Haven't kind of been having to settle for contested shots or just mid-ranges, which you don't really practice. You shoot in the paint or from the three. You don't get a lot of shots from 15 foot, but in the corner.
Yeah, and that's a good observation. And Suzanne, the other thing that you still have to be so impressed with this Blue Jay squad. They only had 3 turnovers at half against constant pressure. Coach Bloom has kept that pressure up in the third quarter. He's pressed the entire third.
And we just haven't turned it over.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
I just think that's a tribute to that their ball handling skills have really improved a lot, and that they're taking better care of the ball. And, you turn the ball over, it's like your opportunity to shoot is gone. So, and, you look at right now, even though neither team is shooting well, we're still outscoring them because we're up 5 points to they've only scored 3.
That's right. Blue Jays with 34 points midway through the third, averaging just 36 on the season. Here's the inbounds pass to Glock, and that was a Peyton Manning pass right there on her hands.
Say, go long.
As it will be Glock now over on the left side. Maybe I should have said a Casey Thompson pass as they get it in the paint here to Pike. She steps through and hits the left-handed layup.
That's what we need Olivia Pike to be doing. That was a good shot.
Here's Drown. Comes across the timeline, working quickly. Blue Jays back in good transition D.
Nice. They really stopped her in her tracks.
Big Blue up by 21. And with it at the top of the key is Perfetti. Gets it down in the right corner. Here comes Bench. That spin to the right. Blue Jays are ready for it, though, as Emma Keith just stepped right in and anticipated it. Good scouting and good coaching here by Hubert. As they get it out to Craven. Now over to Glock on the right side. I mean, they are anticipating that spin move from Bench in the paint. She just loves going the right side, and, boy, they're just stepping in and pulling it away from her.
Yeah, I mean, that's one way to stop her. Just be ready for her. Anytime she spins one way, she's coming back and be ready.
And here's Drown on the steal. Drown has been a spark plug for this Pioneer squad.
She's very athletic.
Good pass down in the corner. Here's a 3-ball up, and it rolls around, won't go. Who's going to come out of there with it? Out of bounds, off of, they say, Paige Comstock. And checking in is Ella Bauman, the 5'4" freshman. Bench will head to the bench. I didn't realize I really just said that.
Bench to the bench?
Bench to the bench. Oh, my. I should have been thinking about that throughout
Well,
the
every
game.
time you say Reagan Craven, seems like it should be like a candy bar or something. Because the way you said it almost sounds like there's a little rhyme there. The Raven Craven with the ball.
Oh, she's got a great first name. Love it. And back the other way they go. They get in the paint, kick it back out top. Working around to Drown. Drown, good pass out on the wing. Not able to quite handle
I was
that.
going to say they're going to have a hard time getting it inside because they got their bench on the bench.
That's right. There you go.
So they don't have, to go up against Olivia Pike, and what we've got inside is going to be tough for them to get anything inside.
And they'll try a three.
And they nailed
get
it.
one.
Yeah.
That's Taylor.
They showed a lot of patience on that one.
Off the bench, the 5'5" sophomore nails home the 3 ball, and now back the other way come the Blue Jays. Up 36-18, under a minute and a half to go in the third.
Nice
and this
inlet
is Pike.
pass. Yeah, that was
wonderful shot.
Set up all by Laughlin there, though.
Good point, Suzanne. Laughlin
Got to
created
give those
shot.
guards some credit there.
As Emma Keith commits the foul. Blue Jays with 3 team fouls. Emma, that is her second on the game. It's Comstock and Fangmeyer will check in out. We'll go Emma Keith and Olivia Pike.
Okay, you watch these girls coming out on both benches of this game, and they are tired. This has been a fast-paced game from the very first tip.
And on top of it, and now
she
stepping
stepped
over
on the line.
Yeah, was Ari Nelson, the 5'9" freshman. Again, she's been playing a lot today, though. 3 freshmen with considerable playing time. Blue Jays have Marley Glock, who's a freshman. She's been playing, of course, quite a bit today as well. And everyone else, as Suzanne mentioned at one point, an underclassman. So they'll return everyone, will the Blue Jays, next year. And they'll have bench coming back, too, for Fort Calhoun. She's just a junior. So 38-18 with 1:05 to go in the third. Blue Jays looking good as Laughlin dribble drive left side, nothing there. Comstock.
I was going to say, I had no idea where she was going with that.
She knew there'd be someone open as there were 3 defenders, maybe 4. Laughlin will pull up with a J. It won't go. Who will track it down?
They touched it last.
Yep, and that's Ari Nelson again, the 5'9" freshman trying to save it. Couldn't quite get it. And checking in is Pike and Keith with 47.4 to go in the third. Out will come Craven and Fangmeyer. So here we go to inbounds. Now coming in here quickly is Maylee Nelson. And out, it'll be a freshman for a freshman because Nelson exits.
She's not been out a lot.
Here we go, 45. Emma Keith with a 15-footer. That missed everything. Can Pike save it? She does, but to a Pioneer. And they'll bring it up here. There is Bauman. Late third quarter, team down 20. Oh, good
nice pass.
Yep.
Nice move to the basket, too.
Great work between Bauman and Nelson. 2 freshmen working together there. And you wonder if maybe they do a little bit of that in the summertime,
they look pretty comfortable on that one. She knew exactly where she was going and what she was going to do, and it was very pretty.
So it is Maylee Nelson to shoot a couple. First one misses. So this Blue Jays squad trying to get to win number 3, and they have come out here hungry today, haven't they, Suzanne?
They have. They really have. They've been going at it for almost 3 quarters now and going at it hard.
Here's the second one. It is up. It's no good. Just a little too much on both of those.
Oh.
Pass, but Comstock tracks it down.
JC was there.
Paige asking for some help as she was looking for something there. Yelled out something, gets a pick there, continues to work, why not? And then Comstock puts it in. What a day for Paige.
Yeah. She asked for help but didn't need it.
She didn't at all. What a night she's having.
Well, the further in she kept dribbling, the more they gave her some open space, and so good for her for taking it, not just passing it up.
Paige just said, look, if you're not going to stop me, I'm going to just keep going. And she worked that left hand into the block and banged it in off the glass, and now the Blue Jays with another impressive quarter there, Suzanne. They put up 11. They now have 40 points on the game. They've already exceeded their average of 36 a game, and they've held Fort Calhoun down to 18.
Yeah, I was going to say, Fort Calhoun only put up 6 points that quarter. That's a killer.
We've been talking a lot about this offense for good reason. Averaging 36 a game, the Blue Jays are at 40, but look, as impressively for Coach Schubert and the squad has been that defense holding them to 18.
Absolutely.
What have you seen on the defensive side?
Well, what I've seen on the defensive side is our girls have not let up from the very first tip. They have been in your face. They have been hustling. They have been hands everywhere. They've got their hands on so many balls. They've created a lot of, I could go on and on. I mean, it's like a defensive coach's dream. You know, I don't know. I remember Brett when he was with the team. He coached with Coach Molinari, and he said he would never be happy unless the other team scored 0 points. So whoever's in charge of the defense here, you held them to 6 points that quarter, and you got to be a happy defensive coach then, because they did what you want them to do.
They sure did. Elliot, your thoughts on the Blue Jay defense today?
I mean, they forced, I don't know the number, but it definitely forced a lot of turnovers from Fort Calhoun, and then been able to go and and a lot of time able to capitalize on a fast break. And then if Fort Calhoun does get their offense set up, just playing, knowing their scouting report, and just playing to their strengths.
And they are always very well scouted. Coach Hubert spends a lot of time on that, folks, watches a ton of film as Bench tries a 3, won't get it to go. And there's Paige Comstock on the board. Comstock in trouble in the backcourt, but finds
nice job by Paige of finding the open player.
You've also got Laughlin out there, Schefter, and Pike. So those are the 5 starters in the fourth quarter for the Big Blue. And this will be Laughlin. Dribbles in. Out there is Tinkman, who started the game. You've got Bench, as well as Bauman. Now they get it in the paint. Bauman on defense, kicks it out. This is Laughlin, misses, but she's fouled. She's going to go to the line to shoot 3.
Yeah. As a coach, it's like we have not hit. Have we hit a 3 this half?
We have not.
Yeah, and so you go out there and you foul her on a 3-point shot. Okay, get your hand in her face. Don't go at it that aggressive. Make her prove it, but now she gets to prove it at the line.
What you're saying is if she misses that first free throw, when you foul someone shooting a tray, it gives coaches a little bit of gray hair, doesn't it?
A little bit.
Just a little?
Yeah, it's just like, especially since they haven't hit a single 3, but then now we missed 2 of our 3 free throws, so.
Absolutely. Jada now.
Yeah, I think Coach Hubert is a little frustrated with that one right there. The way when she missed that second one, the look on his face was priceless. She came back though and got the third one.
That's what I love about Jada. She's just so tough. Got that third one to fall down.
She's a competitor.
She is. Look at her fly around the court there. Almost got a steal.
Well, she thinks she's hurtling out there, I think. She's
I
just
think
flying
so.
through the air everywhere.
And if you don't know, folks, we got a whistle and a reach in. She is a state qualifier in the hurdles and blazing fast. She and I actually had a conversation about it last night at the wrestling meet. Said she absolutely, it is her passion. She loves basketball, but she said, my goodness, track is just something she just absolutely adores, and she's great at it.
She is very good at it.
Blue Jays, patient, get it across the timeline. They lob it up to Laughlin. Her right-handed layup, no good, but she'll foul.
Draws a foul.
And Jada once again will go to the line.
She did a nice job, and there's her speed again there, too. She did a great job of getting down the court ahead of the person with the ball so that you had something to create.
And by the way, this is her 6th and 7th free throws of the night. And, we got a little whistle here. As
they're subbing.
Yeah. Got one person they wanted in and one they wanted back, as Coach Bloom is going to bring over Kaylee Taylor and have a conversation with her. 41-18, Blue Jays cruising. As Laughlin's first free throw off the left side of the rim. And again, we talked about this earlier, but you know she's a good shooter. She's shooting 33% from 3. It's just she's got it upstairs there, and she'll just keep working. Because, man, her form looks great. Everything good, ball rotation. And now she wanted that three.
Should have fired.
And she's not real happy right now. You can tell she's not happy with those missed free throws. But what I'd say to her is keep believing.
Yep.
Keep believing, Jada, because those are going to fall. Here's left baseline drive. She's determined. Kicks it back out.
Good thing Comstock can jump.
Paige has come down with a couple of great catches today. Here's Pike off the glass. Won't go. She'll go to the line to shoot 2.
Get that in there.
So, Olivia, good to see her playing at her level, right? She started the season with that knee injury.
Yeah, that was unfortunate because she had worked so hard during the offseason on basketball and then almost immediately gets hurt. But the good news was it wasn't a tear, no surgery required. She's back on the court.
Boy, isn't that true? You just, and we were all nervous about that, but everything came back all right. And boy, she's getting stronger and stronger with every game. And her free throw is up and good.
She's got a very flat shot on her free throw, doesn't she? I guess I've never noticed that. But it was right in there, though.
And a good shooter from the line,
She is.
71%. She is now today 3 of 4, make her 4 of 5.
That was a little more higher arch. Maybe that last one was just, I don't know, but that last one, she shot almost like remember Brian York?
Yeah, right. Brian York from the old blast from the past. Boy, what an athlete he was. Great receiver, great basketball player. I think played with your son, right?
Yeah, he did. And he had the flattest shot I've ever seen. But
And
he could make him.
Yeah, he's such a great kid. A great steal by Comstock. Get it out to Glock.
Oh, nice.
And the freshman
Glock is coming
finishes.
along. Boy, that's the best I've seen her play and shoot all season.
She has really got a bright future, as does this entire Blue Jay team. And Coach Hubert just kind of laughed and gave her a high five
I was
as she
going to say
came to
she
the
had that
bench.
big smile on her face when he said whatever he said to her.
And, you know, it's good to see this in the huddle here with Coach Hubert. He's giving everyone high fives. He's got a smile the size of Texas on his face. They needed this kind of a game as they lead 45-18.
They did, and I have to say that he is very positive all the time, too, you know, with the girls. And I think that's what they like about him. He knows how to have a good time with them, but yet there's the time when he's going to get down on them and, you know, and you know, like kids, sometimes kids don't react to that well, but you got to understand the more they come at you, the better they think you are and the better they think you should be doing. So it should, I know it's hard as a teenage kid to think, well, he's on me all the time. It's because he knows your potential.
Elliot, you agree with that?
Absolutely.
I like it. No word said no. You want to expand on that?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. I'm with you. Suzanne, to your point, the coaches that I had some really good coaches in high school, but the coaches I loved the most were the ones that were tougher on you. I just
agree.
think you looked for that, you know?
I agree, and I think he's got a nice balance because, let's face it, coaching boys and coaching girls is truly different, but he spent most of his coaching career coaching girls. And I think he's got a great balance between the toughness part and the, you know, let's, you know, kind of pump you up part. So.
Well, he has challenged them today, and they are responding up 45-18. Fort Calhoun with the ball, and they'll try to hit.
Another turnover.
Yeah,
wow.
Nelson down on the block just missed her. And so the Blue Jays will get it, and they'll still face pressure here. And now they're going to pull off the pressure as Fangmeyer will walk it up.
As they should.
You know, these teams came in here with really quite different records. The Blue Jays 2-7 and Fort Calhoun with a couple more wins, 4-7.
But I think that's a big reflection on the schedule we've played.
Yeah. I totally agree. The Blue Jays have played a tough schedule, and there was one comparative score in there. The Blue Jays played a very good Fremont-Bergen team, Archbishop-Bergen team, to a 39-28 loss. However, midway through that fourth quarter, it was anyone's game.
It was.
And Bergen pulled that one out to win 39-28. Meanwhile, Fort Calhoun, a little rougher time. They got beat by about 47 in their game against Bergen. So you kind of wondered if the Blue Jays might have an
a little
opportunity
bit more of an edge.
today.
Yeah, I agree.
And here comes Nelson. Step through. Shot won't go. She'll kick it out, though, to the freshman Bauman. Back to Nelson. 3-ball. Good work there. But there's Drown on an offensive board. Puts it up off the glass, and Drown will knock it home. She's got Fort Calhoun's only points of that the fourth quarter here.
Wow.
As Keith will go to Reagan Craven. And,
yeah, that's going to be on Craven, I think.
They're going to call block.
Oh, no, block. Wow.
And that was on Maylee Nelson.
Yeah, I thought Craven used a little bit of a forearm there, but maybe the block was before that.
Yeah, she might have come up and initiated that. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but Reagan
that's
now
true.
going to go to the line. And let's see here. She's shooting 75%.
Since Kendra's not here, can we say Kendra must have taught her that?
Do you think
Because she's probably, I think she probably is. I should probably get my phone out. I'm probably getting nasty text messages from her.
Absolutely. Well, Kendra, listen, no slouch. She played college
volleyball. Yeah.
And they were tough out there. And I think she also played as Reagan knocks both of those down to make it 47-20. She is such a pure shooter in Reagan Craven. I want to see her shoot more. I know that. And back they come. Bench in the paint. They'll work it. And now working off that right side. And here comes a shot by the freshman
nice
Bauman,
shot.
and that was just strength there.
She's going to be a good little player.
And again, if she is the sister or cousin of Grayson Bauman.
She's got it in her blood.
Oh, my gosh. Grayson, we're going to see him in just a few minutes here after the Unified game. And what a player this kid is. He impressed me so much last year. He's averaging just under 15 a game today or this year. But, Suzanne, if you're sticking around for that one, you'll like watching him play. He's a really good player. You remember him from last year, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And so here they come. This is Craven off the left wing. Blue Jays have their own host of players you'll enjoy watching, as well as Paige Comstock almost gets a steal.
Well, and I think that girl grabbed her as Paige was going by. That's how she got the foul on her.
Yeah.
Wasn't? Oh, there were. I guess there wasn't a foul.
No foul. Just
I
knocked
thought
out
there
of
was.
bounds. As there's Reagan down there in the corner. Kendra is so humble. She just texted us that it's a Jacobson thing. She said.
Yes, I did teach her that, she said.
Oh, she did say that.
That's
okay,
what she sent to me.
She's not humble then. Here we go. Here's a steal.
That's definitely a Jacobson thing, not a Craven thing.
Oh, and it's getting crazy out there. And here's a long pass down there.
Right idea, just let her too much.
By the way, it was great entertainment to listen to her and Brad.
Yeah, it was. I loved that.
Brad and Kendra, brother, sister, they got a chance to call a couple games together over the holiday tournament, right? 2 games, I
Yeah,
believe.
they did. They did.
And they're still talking after all of that.
Yeah, they are.
I was kind of surprised. So
I think Kendra kind of probably enjoyed herself a lot there because she didn't have to do play-by-play. Brad did it all. I noticed, like, okay, Kendra, you still have to talk.
And Brad did an amazing job, by the way. Just a great job.
Well, I love the fact that you pulled Brad in, you pulled Jason in, and so that was good to hear those guys behind the mic.
It really was. And if you don't know, folks, as Fort Calhoun Bauman working out here, ball out of bounds. Jason Leibel, the superintendent of our schools, broadcast now, I think, 3 games over the last week and a half. Brad Jacobson, our principal of high school, he called a couple games. He'll be working with me today after this one.
Nice.
So we'll get the boys game. And then we got a school board member here sitting to my right. So it's great to see, as we have a whistle and a foul, it's great to see, honestly, the support of the administration, school board, get behind this stuff, get behind the student body. I love it.
Well, I love doing it. I mean, I've been doing this, boy, did we start volleyball, the second year maybe of the broadcasting?
Yes. Yeah. It was year 2.
Because it was actually Kendra's husband's sister, Sarah, started with me.
Yes. That's right. You guys were the originals, Sarah Cup.
Yeah. I look back on now. Those games we called were, wow, we've come a long way.
Oh, I'll tell you what. It was great then. You guys were such great sports. As Pike misses a jumper, puts it back up.
Nice shot by Pike.
Look at that little thread she had thread shot she makes there to make it 49-24.
And looking across the gym, it looks like Superintendent Leibel is taking on a whole new role now.
Yeah, I think he's going to be doing the
looks
officiating.
Like he's going to. I would guess he's officiating.
And
that's a new shirt he got for Christmas.
He's got the stripes on for the unified game. It's going to be great as Comstock comes down, kicks it out to Stein, down on the block to Craven. For those of you from Fort Calhoun that might have shuddered and thought the superintendent's going to broadcast the varsity game, no, he's going to be doing the unified game between. Yeah. But he'll
not broadcasting, officiating.
Oh, did I say broadcasting? Yeah. I'm sorry, officiating. He will not be officiating the varsity game.
We have to start wearing stripes to broadcast. I might be tapping out.
Oh. But here we go. We have a whistle, and now they're just going to stop the clock to get some players in as Fangmeyer will come in. 52-24 the score. And Coach he just doesn't have anyone to put in.
I was just going to say, we've got everybody in that we can because with all the injuries we've had, we're lean.
That's exactly right. I believe now, aren't there 3 players that would be on varsity that are out with injuries? And here's a player that just got knocked down. Let's see. She gets up quickly, though. Nicely done by Izzy Greenow, who just checked in the game. And got 1:46 to go. And ball went through the hands there, but tracking it down is Simone Bonacci. And here's a shot
nice
that's up
shot.
and good. Was that Bonacci?
It was 33.
33? Okay,
yes.
So that was Kylie Perfetti, the 5'9" senior. They hit that to make it 52-26. Glock will float through the air, and the freshman having a game today.
She has had a heck. How many points she have?
She's got 9 today.
Good for her.
6 in the second half. 54-26 Blue Jays, as they are going to get win number 3 and go to 3-7 as Pike running the length of the court. She'll try it. Can't get a good defense in there.
Well, she was a little bit off balance. Something that when the girl went by her kind of knocked her off balance a little bit, and she shot it.
Yeah, but now she with great D, and then here's an errant pass by Ari Nelson. And Laughlin will check in with 56.3 to go.
She's going in for Pike.
Yeah, I was a little nervous there. Pike took a little bit of an awkward step.
Yeah, that's when she threw the ball up, and that's why it didn't surprise me she missed it, because she was not balanced at all when she shot.
54-26 as J.C. Fangmeyer, who great to see her playing too this year. You know, we forget she lost most of last season due to that hip injury.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And so she's back though and had a good season, healthy. 37 seconds to go. As Craven will play a little catch out top with Fangmeyer. Coach Hubert, by the way, heading out to that South Dakota State National Championship game down in Texas after this, huh?
He is. He's got an 8 o'clock flight.
Look out. His boys, of course, play. One boy played at South Dakota State, right?
Right. Yeah. Yes. So they have stayed pretty loyal to him. And, you know, as anybody that follows that conference there, that the South Dakota State and North Dakota State are pretty big rivals. And North Dakota State has just owned the national championship for several years. I know they didn't win it last year, but, boy, they've had their share of championship games.
Well, they got to go all the way down to Texas to decide who the champion is this year.
Yeah, they always have it down in Frisco, Texas. That championship game is always played there.
Well,
and his wife, Stacy, was down in Dallas with me for work, and so she just stayed down there. So when she dropped us off early at the airport, it's like, yeah, I'm going back to the hotel to bed.
Well, I'll tell you who answered the bell today were these Ashland-Greenwood Blue Jays. They score 54 today to win 54-26, defeating Fort Calhoun. And I got to tell you, this is the kind of game that really gets,
it's a good confidence builder.
Without a doubt.
Good confidence builder because, you know, not only did we have a good solid win, but we put some points on the board.
Yeah.
And showed the girls that, yes, the hoop is open there. You know, you kind of crack through that lid that's on there and just keep shooting and they will fall.
Absolutely. And so glad to see that. The outburst they had, 54-26. And the defense, Suzanne, talk a little bit about that as well.
The defense was relentless the entire time they were on the court, you know, until the very end. But, boy, they were in your face. I mean, I bet you they had another 10 turnovers, I would guess, second half. I'm pretty sure that they're going to be closing in on 20 turnovers. And it wasn't because they're terrible ball handlers. It's just that we were anticipating passes. We were going after balls. You leave that ball exposed, we're in there, and we're taking it. They figured out the bench girl, you know, always turns back, as you said, early on in the game. And there at the end, we got a key steal on her down low and stopped her. So
love it.
They played hard, and I like the fact, knowing how hard they had to play as long as they had to go, the subbing. We continually sub girls in and out to try and keep the legs as fresh as we could.
Well, the unified game, a few minutes from starting, they're going to warm up here. So Suzanne and I are going to sign off. 54-26, Blue Jays move to 3-7 on the year, while Fort Calhoun drops to 4-8. And we will have the unified game in its entirety. But we're going to sign off for a few minutes to get reorganized. We'll be back, folks. Stay with us.